in the month of April, one of the best electric cars ever made, in fact, one of the best cars made in the history of mankind, continued its constant sales slump. Sales were down 53%. The Kia EV6, it is one of the best electric cars ever made. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that. I'm sticking by it. The EV6, if you have one, you're a lucky person because there's not many of them in the world. Consider yourself an exclusive VIP. No, I'm serious. You think I'm joking, but I'm actually not, because the Kia EV6 is almost as rare as hen's teeth. You could say the same thing about Jaguar's EV. It won World Car of the Year, right? It wins World Electric Car of the Year and World Car of the Year, and then it disappears into the ether. What happened to the I-Pace? Well, if you want to know what happened to Jaguar's EV, I'll put a link in the description. It's basically resting in a funeral parlor somewhere. I don't know. Anyhow, it barely sells. The bizarre thing here is there's such an uncanny resemblance between Jaguar's EV and the Kia EV6, because the EV6 also won World Car of the Year. It also won EV World Car of the Year. It also won Sports Car Performance Car of the Year just only about a month or two ago. And yet, it was also never intended to be a volume production car. That is the sad part of this story. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I saw an EV6 before I left Australia. I came here. I'm in Thailand right now because my wife's doing cancer treatments here. I saw a Kia EV6 before I left, driving along. And I don't know if it was the particular color, but it just looked epic. It's a weird looking car, but I love it. It's really cool. And then I saw a video of a test on CarWow. They tested the EV6, the performance model, the GT edition. They raced it against a Ferrari, and it was a close race. It was cool to watch. They also raced it against an Audi. That was a close race. EV6, it's really a family car. It's not this supercar, but it's pretty much a supercar. Unfortunately, it's also supercar exclusive. And if you don't believe me, well, it sells in similar numbers to Ferraris. No joke. Kia had its best month ever in February in EV6 deliveries. But the truth is, that month was barely any different to any other month. It was slightly better, but Kia only delivered 3,980 EV6s worldwide. That's worldwide. The following month in March, that was for February, the following month in March, Kia EV6 deliveries worldwide actually declined, which is a bit of a shock. Maybe not a shock if you're in the United States, because the EV6 no longer qualifies for the federal tax credit. Although you can still do it through a loophole, you can just lease it and then it will qualify. So considering a lot of people do lease, it still qualifies, technically, really. Therefore, that means that a lot of buyers could buy it, but they're not. I personally believe that is not because the car isn't good. I think it's really more down to the fact that Kia is just not making very many of them. Now, for evidence of this fact, so far this year in the United States, only 4,630 Kia EV6s have been sold. 4,630 in 4 months. That means about 1,150 per month. 1,150 per month in the world's second largest auto market. That is peanuts. And it represents only 1.8% of Kia's volume. In fact, EV6 sales in the US this year are down 41%, and they continue to freefall. March of 2022 was the best month ever for Kia in the US. They delivered more than 3,000. Ever since then, EV6 sales have dropped almost every single month in the United States, where, to be honest, EV sales are really rocketing. They're flying up. So you're probably thinking this is just the US. What about other countries? Wouldn't other countries be, helping to boost Kia's EV6 sales? Well, they're trying, but there aren't that many cars to go around. For example, Australia just had its best electric car month in history. Last month, right? April of 2022, only 1% of all sales in Australia were electric cars. 1%. The other 99% were gasoline or hybrids, mostly gasoline and diesel powered cars. However, in April of this year, EV sales skyrocketed, up 700%. In fact, they hit more than 8% market share versus 1% the previous year. Now, just over 8% market share is nothing compared to a lot of other countries, but for Australia, it's a great result. However, the EV6 didn't play a very big part in that. For example, Tesla delivered nearly 4,000 vehicles, BYD 1,118, Hyundai Ioniq 6s 89. That's not for a lack of interest. I've met heaps of Aussies that want the EV6, but you have to go into a lottery, or at least you did as far as the recent sales were. You had to go into a lottery basically where you jump on the website at a certain time of the day and try and click real fast to see if you can get one. Yeah, 89 is not great. That's the 8th best-selling EV. What about Norway? In Norway, pretty much only EVs are being sold at the moment. 9 out of every 10 cars are EVs. In fact, most cars on the road now are EV. They've already disrupted the entire car market. So that means that more than 60% of Norway's entire car fleet are electric. But around 9 out of every 10 sales right now are fully electric. Well, in Norway, the 10 best-selling cars are all electric. But the top 20 best-selling cars in Norway, unfortunately, none of them are the Kia EV6. So, yeah. It doesn't really sell in Norway either. Well, what about Germany? Germany's a huge car market. EV sales there are rocketing up. Well, it's the same story in Germany. The EV6 is about the 18th best-selling EV so far this year, and it's only holding on to that place by a couple of units. As a brand, Kia in Germany were beaten by Tesla, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, BMW, Hyundai, Seat, Volvo, Smart, MG, Opel, Fiat, Renault, Skoda, Peugeot, Mini, and that puts them in 19th place. They were just ahead of Ford in EV deliveries in the month of April. Suffice to say, the Kia EV6 is barely sold at all in Germany as well, and that's not because German publications have said it's bad. In fact, motoring journalists in Europe, they're the ones who've given the EV6 the Car of the Year award. It's basically a European award. They gave it all these awards. They gave it the awards that meant people wanted them, but then Kia didn't actually deliver very many of them. Now, the country where more EV6s are sold than any other place in the world is its home country of South Korea. But even there, not that many are sold. Kia deliver approximately 1,500 EV6s per month. It's a pretty small number in comparison to the number of EVs being sold in China. It wouldn't rate in the top 50 best-selling EVs in China either. Getting back to my point here. This car was never intended to be a mass-produced EV. I personally don't understand why Kia went to so much effort to produce an award-winning car. It's won so many awards in Australia, in America, in Europe, globally. It's actually won more awards than any other car that's been manufactured over the past 10 years, whether that be electric or otherwise. That's a true fact. You can look that up. And yet, Kia stubbornly refuse to make many of them. Unfortunately, the Kia EV6 was never intended to be anything but a compliance car. Thank you for watching.